back to another video of mine. Firstly, I just want to say if my voice sounds a little bit different or weird, it is because I have unfortunately been sick, so you guys will just have to bear with me. But a lot to catch you guys up on. Obviously, I feel like every time I sit down to make a video, I have so much to catch you guys up on. So I'm gonna go back on, I'm gonna start back on February 9th because that is when everything kind of started this month and be very chaotic, kind of, to be honest. Weekend of February 9th, everything was going okay. I noticed that my son was a little bit more tired than usual, barely coughing at all, like every once in a while, a few times throughout the day, Saturday and Friday a little bit, and then Sunday is when he definitely got worse. I'm gonna try to be as brief and quick as I can. Definitely do want to tell the story because this does involve breathing issues, and if you're a parent to a toddler or a baby, I definitely want to tell the story because it definitely was the best decision that we could have made, and it helped him. If you ever are in the situation that we were on Sunday, then I hope the story helps and gives you a little bit more clarity on when exactly to go in and when to take your child. But obviously I already know you guys know your children well enough to make that call, but I hope that this helps in any way for you guys, especially right now because it is winter time, and that is when kids get sick the easiest, sick more often, especially if they are in school or in their first year of school, which is I think why my son has gotten sick so many times. This is his first year of school, so he's getting exposed to a lot more things and a lot more kids his age. Long story short, Sunday he definitely started getting worse, wanted to sleep a lot and wasn't wanting to eat any foods. Every time he was awake, I tried to push fluids as much as possible because I know they always say if they don't eat on the first couple days, that's okay, but definitely push fluids as much as possible. And I did try to make him eat just a piece of toast at least, so that when I'm giving him medicine, it doesn't just sit on an empty stomach. It was an ordeal because he didn't really want to eat much of that. And as the day went on, his coughing was literally insane. He was coughing like every minute, over and over and over, coughing, and some of the coughs were where he couldn't even like catch his breath almost, it seemed like. He was coughing so much that it was just getting to the point of like debating back and forth. Should we go in and take him? Should we not? Should we take him? Should we not? Getting into the evening of Sunday, and he was supposed to go to the school the next day, and I was like, there's no way that he's going to school tomorrow. Into the evening around like 4ish to 6 p.m. he started breathing funny, different. And this is definitely something to take very seriously. Respiratory distress in babies or toddlers is a very serious thing. The telltale signs that you're supposed to look for is rapid heart rate, very fast breathing, rib contractions, breathing in and out, and also he had where your clavicle bones are and in your neck, he also was contracting, breathing in here too, as well as his rib area and stomach. So those are signs that you are not getting enough oxygen, and there are a ton of other things that you can look up as well. I know one of them being very pale skin and bluish purple nails. Also definitely look for bluish purple lips. By that point his skin was very pale, and he had like very little lip color. He also vomited as well at like right at 6 p.m. and by that point me and my husband were like, that's it, we're just gonna go ahead and take him. There's no more guessing games, no more going back and forth of should we take him, should we not, because it's always like a ride out game of okay, they can ride this out and get better, or you have to obviously take them in and get help. So that's what we did. We hurried and threw some clothes on him, and it was so cold outside. He did not want to go, but I'm so glad that we took him. Got everybody ready, hurried, got in the truck, went to the place, and only me and him went in. I went ahead and started signing him in, And as I was literally signing him in and signing papers, he threw up. I was like, not panicking, but like trying to find something so he didn't throw up all over the chair and in the floor. And I saw a trash can and hurried and ran and grabbed it as the person at the desk tried to hand me like one of those vomit throw up bags that they have that are like blue, that are like this long. And it was already too late. I was in mom mode and ran and grabbed that trash can. So he threw up in that. Had to take a pause on filling out paperwork and stuff. And then after he finished throwing up, I finished signing him in. They got us back really quickly. They weighed him and then took us to a room. And it was only like 1 or 2 people at the beginning. And they were trying to put the little like brown wrap thing around his finger that has a light to get his oxygen levels, because by that point it was so bad. Like his breathing was so rapid, it was contracting like I was saying, and he was definitely finding it. He thought that it was gonna be stuck on his finger and that it was gonna rip off and hurt when they took it off. He was definitely not liking that. Flipped out. I was trying to calm him down and reassure him that it's not gonna hurt when they take it off. All it is just gonna read your oxygen. And they were doing the same. And all of a sudden like 4 other people came in and I was like, what is happening? Like, it was kind of honestly making me a little bit nervous, but I understand that they're trying to do their job and figure out what's going on. Assess him, because the place that we went to was very empty. Wasn't really many people in there. Finally got that on him. His oxygen level was so weird. It was going from like 86, 89 to 92 to 90 to 88, and kept kind of staying at the low 90, barely 90 level, at 80, 89, 88 and stuff like that. So he was like, we need to get him on oxygen immediately. This is a first for me. We've never had to actually put him on oxygen before. So I was like, okay, new adventure. We needed it. Finally got that on him, and he did not like the little pieces that sit in your nose. He fought that, and she already knew that he was going to, because she knows that little kids do not like that in the beginning to get it on, but then after it sits there for a little, they're fine. And that's exactly what he did. They started him on oxygen. We wanted to do blood work, a urine sample, swab testing. They swab tested for RSV, COVID, and the flu. I don't believe that they tested him for strep throat, because they only did a nose swab. They definitely wanted to put him on IV fluids as well, because he was so pale and looked dehydrated. And I was trying my very best to push fluids, but you know how that is when they also want to sleep and not really eat anything. They hooked him up to that, and boy was that an ordeal. A little bit like not so sad now when you think about it. He does not like needles, he does not like blood. So when it came time to do the IV and start it, he literally flipped out. I can't even. Knew that this was going to happen. That was my fear going in, if they were going to do blood work or do fluids. So I kind of just tried to mentally prepare myself. As soon as he looked over and saw that she had that needle, was about to poke it into his arm, he lost it. He was like, no, not gonna take my blood. No, mama, don't let him do it. And kept saying my name and said that he wanted me, and that part was honestly so sad. If you've ever been in that situation before and your child is wanting them to stop or wants you, all that you can do is just hold their hand and try to refocus them and try to distract them. But he was not having it. He finally got it in and got it calmed down and put the like square tape over to make sure it didn't pull out or anything. So they did all of that and wanted to do the urine sample as well. The main doctor was so confused as to what was going on with him. She had different speculations, was just so weirded out by all of his symptoms and the sound of his cough and his oxygen levels. Also had a feeling that it was appendicitis, and when she said that, I was like, what? Actually fully not prepared for that to go that direction. I was thinking, oh my gosh, if that goes that direction, we are about to have to be transferred to the hospital and go into surgery. Just kind of like, oh my gosh, I need to calm myself and just be fine and be strong for him and not show him anything of my feelings. And that's what I did. I also called my husband in between that time of when they left the room because we had to wait for blood work. And the blood work came back pretty quick. I did tell my husband, what was going on. And he was like, what? Like, I cannot believe that you're saying that it could be appendicitis. But if that's what it is, that we will make it through it and we'll take it one step at a time. The blood work came back and his white blood cell count was at 22,000, which is so high. Normally his range should have been around 10,000. So that's like 12,000 above what it should be. They were like, we have got to figure out what is going on and why his blood cell count is so high. That's when she started saying, we definitely need to take a scan of his lower stomach and everything to make sure that this isn't appendicitis. I was just kind of honestly like just trying to be calm and just pray. And they willed him to do the x-ray into like a little donut thing, a circle where he laid on the bed flat, and then it pulled him in and then took the scan, pulled him back out, and then did another one. And this was to take a lower chest and stomach x-ray. Honestly did so good. And then they wheeled him back into the room and put him back on oxygen. Those 30 minutes, I swear, were like the longest 30 minutes of my life. It felt like, especially when you're about to find out if your child has to be transferred or go into surgery if he does have appendicitis. I practically was just sitting there by his side, talking to him, letting him watch the little show that they put on, and just honestly praying a ton and praying for that it hopefully wasn't appendicitis, and if it is appendicitis, that everybody will know what to do. Hopefully help calm myself and calm my nerves, and obviously, my husband and everything like that. Finally came back in, and after the 30 minutes were over and said that it was not appendicitis, that it definitely looked like he had the rhinovirus plus the possible start of pneumonia. I did not expect him to have pneumonia at all. I was like, what? Because he went from being fine to all this going down. That is honestly the scary thing about him. His immune system, I feel like, is not strong. And every time he gets sick, he definitely has like breathing problems to where we have to give him breathing treatments and stuff like that. Obviously was also dehydrated, so they gave him 2 bags of IV fluids, put him on the oxygen, and then started slowly weaning him off of it and had him get up and go get a snack and a drink to see how well he did walking and make sure he didn't have any trouble breathing while he was walking. Back to the room, put him back on the oxygen on very low, just kind of slowly wean him off to make sure that his levels stayed okay. And his levels stayed around 94 to 95, which is where they want it to be. They want it to be 95 to 100. It's even better if it's at 100. That was kind of the whole visit. It was a bunch of tests, a bunch of stuff going on. They were very fast, very efficient, and got everything done quick to make sure that he was okay. Doctor came in and prescribed him medicine and was like, as long as you feel comfortable taking him home, I feel comfortable. I believe he's at a good state right now, and as long as you push a bunch of fluids and give him his medicine, then he will be just fine. And if the symptoms get worse or reappear, then take him back. Yeah, that was the story of our Sunday night, and we didn't even get home till like 9 something, almost 10 o'clock. And my husband had to go to work the next day, so we hurried and ate something quick. Had to take my husband to work the next day so that I could go pick up his medicine. Didn't need the first doses that night, obviously, because he also, forgot to mention, they did give him a bag of antibiotics while we were in there to push those because his white blood cell count was so high. And that's why he didn't need that dose that night and then start the first dose in the morning. Also did get more blood work towards the end while he still had the IV in to make sure that his body wasn't going into sepsis or anything, because if you have that severe of an infection and your white blood cell count is that high, plus low oxygen levels, they wanted to make sure that everything was fine and that he wasn't going septic at all or anything like that or showing early signs of that. So thankful that we trusted our gut and took him, because he obviously had to be put on oxygen and receive it for a little while we were there, and that he got taken care of and got the help that he needed and got the medicine that he needed. If you have a gut feeling and you know something is up and you have a feeling that You definitely need to take your child. Definitely trust your gut, trust your feelings, and take your child, because I'm so glad that we did. Oxygen levels and bad sickness is not something that you want to mess around with. Obviously, when she had to take the IV out finally, definitely freaked out because he did not want the stuff to rip off his skin, the little plastic square seal over that, and then obviously it coming out the actual IV part. So I was like, no, no, no. And she was like, oh, okay, you want to stay here with me tonight? And he was like, no, I don't. So she was like, okay, then we need to get it out, okay? And then she was trying to calm him and reassure him that everything's gonna be okay and that she would go very slow. And that's exactly what she did. And then took out the IV and he finally was okay. And then she wrapped his arm. They took the oxygen thing off of his finger, and he also wigged out about that because he thought it was gonna rip off his finger as well. So definitely does not like any of that stuff. So if you've had that problem with your child and have dealt with anything like this, then I definitely feel for you, because you want your child to be okay and not like literally yelling or screaming, because these people are doing a wonderful job taking care of them and taking care of him. After that, we finally got the papers to sign to get discharged, and he got 2 days of school off and then went back that Wednesday, and he took the rest of his doses of the antibiotic stuff. And honestly, he did have a very, very hard time getting over this sickness, because if you know kids, you know that they don't really spit any of that stuff that gets trapped in here out. So that is what he's had the problem with the longest, and constantly still coughing every once in a while because of that. Actually did vomit twice this past week that has just passed. And I did keep him home from school one day because he did throw up a few times. He threw up a lot of phlegm, a lot of mucus, definitely needed to get out. And yeah, he's already back at school this week, and he's coming up on spring break soon. I'm excited about that because I feel like he definitely does need a break from school and to kind of recuperate and have a break for a little moment. He was sick, and then my little brother's birthday was on February 11th, and unfortunately my parents and them did get sick as well, because my younger brother that is in school right now brought sickness home from his school. So it is a constant battle of, you know, bringing stuff home, catching things. So glad that they're okay, because my mom unfortunately did get very, very extremely sick, and we had to, you know, give her some things that would help her and let her use a breathing machine and stuff like that. Then I had his little Valentine's party thing February 19th, which was last week, Wednesday. I started feeling not well and was like, okay, now I'm sick. So that is why I sound like this. Started with really, really bad ear pain, throat soreness. My voice has been very affected. The first 2 days, Wednesday and Thursday, the 19th and 20th, I barely had a voice. It was so raspy, so hoarse sounding. I was so tired, headaches, body aching a little bit. Yeah, all of it. Just, you know, stuffy nose a little bit. But my ear pain and my throat hoarseness and dryness and all of this area was hurting the most. And my voice is still a little bit weird, but it definitely has come back a lot more than what it was. I have just been trying to drink lots of fluids, keep up on eating, and not really slow down at all to make sure that I'm getting enough in my system, and using cough drops a ton, trying to drink plenty of water, trying to get rest when I can. I don't believe that I have ran fever, because I think I would honestly know if I was running fever, but those have been my symptoms. And I know this is kind of TMI, but I have been spitting out nasty colored stuff as well. Been brown kind of there for a little bit, which is like, ooh, I can't, that stuff grosses me out. So I'm sorry if you don't like to hear about that. They're all the symptoms that has been happening to me. I've been feeling, and I'm honestly feeling better now. If my throat could kind of clear up all the way and in here just a little bit more, then I'd actually be feeling a lot better, because I am getting my energy back. It's Monday today, and I'm so glad that I'm feeling better, because Friday I definitely need to be feeling 100%, because I actually do have another dental appointment. So very excited about that. Unfortunately, my mom is sick as well, again. If you want to pray or positive vibes this way, I would definitely appreciate it. And if you're also sick at this moment or have been sick recently, or your kids are sick or have been sick recently, definitely praying for you guys as well, because sicknesses are no joke and there's so much sickness going around right now. Hope you guys all get better or your kids get better. You wanting to get out of this winter time and sickness, because it has definitely got to go and stay away. Next are going to be some kind of clips that have been happening over this month of February that I definitely want to include. Little moments of doing Valentine's cards with my son, my little brother's birthday celebration time with my family that we did after we kind of felt better in between the window of where we weren't sick, and obviously putting insulation finally in our house, in our attic, because boy did it need it, and there were places in our house that didn't have any. So I hope you enjoy all that footage. I wanted to include these clips because to me these were super important, and I took these actually before he got even worse. So I kind of wanted to show how he was breathing, and here he is coughing as well in some of these clips, so you can see how he was breathing and everything like that, because this is exactly why we took him in, and also the vomiting as well. So as you can see here, he was obviously struggling breathing. And here he is in the place that we took him, and this was after he had oxygen. And here he is now doing his Valentine's card stuff for his class. And this honestly made me so excited, and to be able to pick these out with him and make these, and it being his first year to exchange everything in his class.
You know what you can do tomorrow? Right. You can write all the girls' names on the red and then the boys on the blue. Does that sound like a good idea?
Yeah.
Because you're going to do the 2 parts tomorrow at school with your teacher.
Right. 2 days.
Is there more girls or boys in your class?
I don't know. I think there's more girls.
You think there's more girls?
And next one coming up.
I had to get a video of him in the suit because I could not. Honestly, the suit was not worth it, especially if you're a bigger person. Honestly, you just need a good old sweatshirt, some gloves, and some old pants, and obviously the mask as well. Here he is going up there to inspect to see where he needs to start at. And this is the tubes that go to the machine, and they are very, very long, as you can tell. And there's all the bags of the insulation. In the beginning, we thought that Chris was going to go up there to do this, but because of how tight the fit was up there, his dad actually went up there to do it, and we decided to make sure that we took care of the machine and made sure we were filling it right and make sure everything's going correctly. And this is definitely a job for 4 people for sure.
To your left. Turn your head to your left. I'm up further.
We have never installed insulation, so this was a learning curve, honestly, for all of us. And the biggest mistake we made was filling that machine that you just saw all the way to the brim. We should have never done that, because yes, it's going good right here, but then as soon as I finished that clip, it stopped working. So we had to literally lift the machine, which is not light, and dump all of it out, and we were trying to break up all the insulation and start again, and it was still going bad. So my biggest tip is, if you're going to do insulation yourself, especially blown in insulation, which is what we're doing, you absolutely have to go little by little at a time, because the machine has a very small hole to push all the insulation through all those tubes. And it is a very, very dirty mess, as you could tell by my hair and everything, and the ground and the floors. So here we are, you know, being successful at it finally, and doing little by little and letting it get grinded up and shoot through the hole, through the tubes. So that would be my biggest tip if you're going to do this yourself. If you buy a certain amount of bags from Home Depot, you do get to use this machine for 24 hours. You just have to show proof of the bags that you bought, and all you have to do is put the $250 deposit down, And as long as you don't damage the machine and bring it back within 24 hours, they do not actually charge you that. It ends up going back onto your card. And here we are checking and seeing how it's going. And we also made sure that we put insulation all the way up to the rafter boards in between every spot that there was. It was honestly so crazy watching all that insulation go up through these tubes. And the only bad thing that happened was obviously all the floors got dirty, which is fine. I wasn't worried about that. I kind of figured that was going to happen. But while we were doing the insulation, the tube accidentally fell and blew insulation all over the floor in the hallway, which is what you're seeing. But it's not a big deal. It happens. It was a total accident. So some advice is to definitely expect this to be very messy if you're going to do this yourself.
All right.
Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to your cake. Happy birthday to you. Emma's trying to come around. Watch out. Bring another one. Is it too heavy?
Whoa! Ha, ha, ha. There's more. Help. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Now this one next.
There's more.
Okay, you can open the Hulk if you want.
Hold on, Noah.
Oh, yeah.
What is it?
Pikachu!
It's a road.
Look, that one.
It's got a hood on it.
Yes.
You like it?
Cassie, Cassie. Yeah, here he goes. Here he goes. Here he goes.
Hope you guys all enjoyed this video. Thanks so much for watching. Like, subscribe, and if you haven't already, turn the bell notification on so you know when my videos are uploaded. And I will see you in my next video. Bye, guys.